about that information.
Yes, sir.
Like I said, tones are very important. So after a while, when you study tones, I only speak 8 languages, but when you study tones on this level, you can realize when you're listening to a master just by how they say their words, because it's embedded in their conviction. The message that they convey is embedded in their conviction. So this means no matter what language you speak, if your spirit is there, you will orchestrate the tones within the confines of that language to give the people what they need in ways that can be seen or felt. You know what I'm saying? This is called exegeting. In the church, they get taught how to exegete, which is the science of saying de-emphasized words in emphasized ways. So since English is de-emphasized, like in Arabic, you got more than one H. You got huh, you got huh. And in Hebrew, you have huh, and you have huh. So when I'm in church and I realize I'm being taught I gotta pick up the spirit of the people, but I got a dead language. How do I raise the dead? Speaking a dead language. I get taught how to exegete, which is to add a huh to what I say. So I have to not just say Jesus, I have to say Jesus, ha. And when I do that, then you go, boom. And then next thing you know, chicken wing time. Niggas go back and forth like this, run up. But little do you know, and then they play the music, subtly, after every tone. You know why? Because the language itself is dead to try to communicate. You see, we speak English, we say, what's popping, yo? Or what's cracking? Popping and cracking sound like bones being compromised. But in Hebrew, it's shalom, and in Arabic, assalamu alaikum. Peace be on to you. Peace. This is what everybody's saying in their culture. But in the black school in America, what's cracking? What's popping? All over the world they're saying peace be upon you. Now that's it. And you wonder why we acting crazy. It's a dead language, incurring dead ideas, thus making us more inclined to kill each other. It's important to meditate. It's important to just think good ideas. Just thinking good ideas send grooves and frequencies throughout your body that causes your bones to shake and produce fluids that it would normally not produce unless the stimulation from the shake was provided. This is true. Why do you think while having sex, you were designed to be enticed or stimulated by someone moaning? And now in European culture, you don't want to sound like a fool, so you try not to make noises, particularly men. Try not to make no noises when you're having sex. But this is one of the outlets that you've been given to have healing. The shaking and the humming and the chanting and the moaning, the vibratory response that the human body has causes you to produce that which you need for healing. But now we don't chant. Now we don't vibrate on these higher frequencies. So we have a low cognition of metals. What does this mean? I'll give you an example. A woman may say, every month the left side of my head hurts when I get on my cycle, every single month. That's what she may say. She said, every month, left side of my head hurts. So we say, sister, have you been eating almonds and mushrooms during your cycle? She says, yes. That's probably your problem. So what does that mean? We'll tell you what it means. Peace out. I'll tell you what it means. When a woman gets on her cycle, she produces more remetrium matter within the vaginal orifice. When she's on her cycle, this means that her body produces more copper than normal. When a woman is menstruating, her body produces more copper than any other time of the month. Mushrooms have a high amount of copper. Almonds have a high amount of copper in it. So let's say a woman is on a cycle and she has a low cognition of metals. She may not realize she's going through copper toxicity. And a symptom of copper toxicity is a headache an extreme or acute headache, especially on the left side of the head. So she may not realize she is taking in more copper than is conducive at that particular time because she doesn't have a cognition of the influence of metals in her body. You ever drank water and it tastes a little metallic? How many of you ever drank water? Raise your hand. You said, it tastes like it's metal or something. You get a metal taste in your mouth. That means that you're suffering from arsenic toxicity. Not just that water might have it, that you're taking in too much arsenic. And it might be those French fries you eat, because the skin of the white potato is used to make rat poison, because the skin of the white potato is high in arsenic content. So you might be taking in way too much arsenic, so you're suffering from arsenic toxicity. And the woman that's on the cycle saying, oh, my head hurt, I can't take this every month. And the man's like, I can't take these every month. Just because he's cooking you mushrooms and almonds during a time when the merometrium in the vaginal orifice is producing higher amounts of copper, and now eating copper saturated foods while on your cycle, it results in a migraine, most times on the left side of the head. This is to solve a lot of problems. The reason why we fight in my house with the white man, no, the reason why you're fighting with your woman is because you're feeding her almonds and mushrooms during her cycle again. And y'all both are driving each other crazy. You got low patience, and she's screaming, yelling, and frustrated. Now the white man is not around, just low cognition of the influence of metals. We have become extraterrestrials. What does this mean? Extra means an additional amount, terra means earth, and astral from the stars. We definitely from the stars, but we are on a surface that is way higher than it normally would be. There's people living in the inner world, as Dr. Delbert Blair masterfully has conveyed this message to us to deliver this to the people. Though I know they think he's crazy, it's true. But I'm not going to go into no 600-mile-long sun in the center of that. You never heard it. I ain't going to talk about that. What I am going to say is this. We are on a very higher plateau of the planet Earth than need be. Unless we're trying to accomplish something in particular. What do I mean by this? The planet is on a higher plateau than normal. So we are closer to the ionosphere. What is the ionosphere? The ionosphere is the fourth sphere of the planet Earth. Yeah, stratosphere, mesosphere, and so forth and so on. The ionosphere is the fourth sphere of the planet Earth. This is where radio waves and signals and frequencies get sent. Because we are in these skyscrapers, because we are on a higher plateau, they build the land so high, we are really the extraterrestrial. We are really on another part of Earth that nobody used to walk on being this high. Why is this important? The closer we get, or the higher we get, the closer we are to the ionosphere, which is the sphere of the planet Earth where they're able to channel radio frequencies and signals. If you're not on that sphere, you don't pick it up. Why is this important? Because you'll be walking around singing songs that you say you hate. How many people does this happen when you walk around saying, I can't get this song out of my head, I swear I hate it. That's because you're picking up the radio signals. And guess what else you're also picking up? You're picking up mass text. So you see these people walking around moving their lips, you say, man, that ain't crazy. He's just walking around just talking to nobody. No, he's picking up text messages. I know that sounds crazy. We're picking up all sorts of signals and heart waves and radio frequencies, and it's even easier for us to be subject to it now that we're on a higher plateau of the planet Earth. So I would be thinking a song and you'll start singing it. And I'd be like, yo, I was just right at that same point. You was thinking that too? No, we both were picking up the radio signal. It's being played on the radio right now. But I know that sounds nuts. So we go to the third one. We cook with metal pots. But when you cook with metal pots, don't you know, even if you cook in alkaline food, the second you put it in a metal pot, it turns acidic? Our grandmothers and grandfathers used to cook in what? Glass pots. How many of you know this? I used to see my grandmother cook in glass pots. Glass pots like our style now. Ceramic, cast iron. But you see, when we cook in metal pots, even when the food is alkaline, it turns acidic. When you cook in glass pots, it doesn't compromise the integrity of the alkalinity of the food. See, this is some stuff, and I want you to look it up and make sure I'm not going crazy. I only have a short period of time to talk. We have become lunatics. What do I mean by that? When you go to work, you have to leave real early in the morning, and it's probably dark outside. The sun ain't really come out yet. When you go to lunch, most of y'all get your jobs in the city. There's skyscrapers. Scrape the sky. Scrape the sky. Block the sun. So when it's lunchtime, the big buildings are blocking the sun. when you go to work, it's dark outside. When you live in the city, you probably taking the train, going underground to go to work. When you do hang out, you go into the club late in the night. You stay out there for hours, so you get all of the lunar spectrum, but you're missing the full spectrum of the sun. Lunar, luminous, Monday, moon day, lunatic. You cannot be going outside missing the rays that you need. Vitamin, vitality, min. Minerals, min, deity, Amun. Vitamin. You get your vitality from the sun. The only time you really need vitamins is when you're not getting enough sunlight, because the sun produces different vitamins during choice hours out the day. You want vitamin D? Go outside, and B12, go outside between the hours of 9 and 10:30. Vitamin B12 and D is produced. Vitamin B12 is an organism called cobalamin. Cobalamin is an organism that exists in the small intestine, which detoxifies the melanin. Look it up, I'm not lying. But if they call it B12, you would never think B12 is an organism. You would never think B12 is alive. So when they give it to you in a pill, and it looks very dead, you feel comfortable. But when you find out that B12 scientific name is cobalamin, because B12 is actually an organism that helps the body sustain itself as a trace mineral, meaning it's very hard to find it on the planet Earth, but it is produced when you get sun exposure during 9 and 10:30 in the morning. That the only thing you can do is get a supplement or a supplement, because you're not getting the sun, so now I gotta get it in pill form. So that's killing us. Then we got our music was sped up. Females vibrate on sharps. Many of us don't know music, or we didn't get taught music no more. We go to music class and we take a bunch of notes, but if we touch an instrument, we might get suspended from school.
Yep.
How many of you had music class from the time you've been going to school? Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you ever had music class when you went to school.
Yes.
Now, put your hands down. That was most of just about the whole room. Raise your hand if you know how to play an instrument. See? Not the same numbers. So we all had music class for at least 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9 years. And out of that came no substance, because most of the room don't play an instrument. Females vibrate on what's called sharps. Men vibrate on what's called flats. And when children are born into this world, the womb vibrates on D major, which is synonymous with Om. So they sped up our music. We used to vibrate over music that's on middle C. Now they sped up the music to A, which is compromising the integrity of the biorhythm of the planet Earth and the human body. It's making us go crazy. This music is going entirely too fast. But who would think music could destroy the planet? Who would think music would make you act crazy aside from the words that are in the music? It's the vibration and the speed of the music that is driving us crazy. Music is supposed to be on middle C. Now our music is on A. It's entirely too fast. And it's making you corrupt. It's making you frustrated. It makes you want to fight. It makes you go in the club and say, throw those bows. It makes you say, move, bitch. Get out the way. I'll tell you one thing, you better never jump in front of my tour bus. Ain't that what he said?
Yep.
Now this is a Negro saying, if the black woman is in the street and I'm in my tour bus, I'm gonna run her over. She better never be in that street. You think it's by accident that he's making up crazy, and the people that listen to it. I tell you one thing, you better never jump in front of my tour bus.
Oh gosh.
I say, what the hell? And we recite this kind of crazy music, and another dude saying, throw those bows. So I'm in the club, and that song comes on, and I literally got to talk. I'm like, yo, I thought this shit was figurative. I didn't know he's really going to be throwing elbows. Someone can get hurt. I can't even hear the dance. They throwing some, and these guys have some sharp bows. I think most of this room probably vegan and love hip hop. The niggas was skinny as hell with some pointy bows. I like someone, I could get stabbed out. Last and not least, our language. And I want to tell you another thing about the land. The soles of the shoes. Why they call the bottom part of the shoe sole? S-O-L means sun. You see, now we got rubber shoes on. How many of you know back in the days the elders used to have shoes on that were made of wood at the bottom? Wood. If I wear wood today, every gang in Chicago will be fine. For what reason, I don't know, but I know they would attack me. But we wearing rubber shoes, and it's blocking the connection from the sun inside the earth. It's a disconnect. It don't go through rubber. Rubber's a good source if you're trying to block electricity. But not for no sun. We want the sun. So the wood used to keep us connected. And now we have rubber shoes. And our language itself was de-emphasized. In the 1600s, the London Missionary Society de-emphasized the English language, which means they made the language lighter because they couldn't handle the emphasis or the weight of the tones of the language. That's why you have words like light, L-I-G-H-T, and you don't pronounce the G-H. Because if you did, it would be a letter that they took out of the Hebrew alphabet that you will find in the ancient Hebrew alphabet called H. And it causes the hard palate of the mouth, the uppermost portion of the mouth, that's corrugated just like the vagina, meaning it has grooves in it, which means it was made to contract and expand, but because you speak a language that doesn't cause you to have to use the top or uppermost part of your mouth, it's dormant. But when you use this, it causes your kidneys and your appendix to vibrate, but they say we don't need our kidneys and appendix. But if you speak in the right tones, it causes your kidneys and your appendix to vibrate, and that vibration causes a neurological message to be sent to the brain to produce endorphins that make you feel like you're in heaven, or make you feel like you establish ecstasy or an orgasmic experience. But they cut off our stimulus by de-emphasizing the tones in the language. So if you look up 1600s London Missionary Society, they took the letter CH, which in Hebrew would have been het, het. But now if you look at the word Michael, it's just Michael. It should be Michael, Michael, Michael. See how these are hard palate, the top part of my mouth? Michael. I speak 8 languages, one of which I put forth. So you start realizing something. You say, whoa, this is deep. So they de-emphasize language. Now, why would they have to make the CH sound? Why do they have to make the GH sound? Look at the letter Q and listen to the letter K. Don't they sound alike in the English language? And out of it, you have a cough and you have a. That is the Q sound. That's the Q, which is different from. So people say Quran or Quran. There's no such thing. The Quran is a on. See how that works? Well, we made fun of the Africans. They, oh, sorry, he's spitting some shit at you, man. Block your eyes. But little do we know, these are the tones that were designed to maintain the integrity of the human body so you don't get sick, so you don't be depressed, so you can sustain your happiness. Why would someone have to just suddenly take these tones out of the language? And what would happen if these tones were reintroduced to us? What would happen to our consciousness? Would it expand?